That's why I'm asking this question. How many of you know about you completely? Otherwise, we have to try to have a full knowledge, how to know about you completely, because you are the person going ahead the whole lifetime. So we have to know about you. We have to know about ourselves. That's the meaning of it. So if you can respond immediately, most welcome. Otherwise, we'll continue the discussion. Here, I have to start the discussion with a theory based in psychology, human needs hierarchy. It was proposed by a psychologist, namely Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow was a well-known psychologist who has written books and who proposed the first theory about human needs hierarchy. Need means we all have our own personal needs. But what is the first need, or what is the next level of need? Yes, starting. ഷെയറിംഗ് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലോ. ഈ സ്ലൈഡ്സ് ഓക്കെ. ഉള്ളിലിപ്പോ hello, I can continue now. So according to Abraham Maslow, he proposed 5 levels of human needs. It is starting from the first level and increasing to the last level. That's why it is explained as human needs hierarchy in a hierarchical order. First, then second, then comes third, then comes fourth, and if these are fulfilled, then comes fifth. So unless the previous level is fulfilled, human being cannot think about the next level. Then only the next level will become in need. That's how it increases one after other, fulfilling each level. And let us see the levels. Abraham Maslow's 5 levels of human need hierarchy are starting from the basic physiological need, first level. Basic physiological need means it all biological bodily needs like hunger, thirst, oxygen like respiration, and even Abraham Maslow has indicated sexual needs also as a biological need. So all are varied depending on the individual. All body related needs are called as basic physiological needs. All these needs are to be fulfilled by every mature human being, and then only he or she can think about the next level of need, which will become a worry unless they are fulfilled one after other. Then comes the second. If these biological needs are fulfilled satisfactorily for the human being, then he or she will start bothering about the second level of human need, which is known as safety need. Safety need means need to become safe to live. It, as a common man thinks that it is not only shelter, but after biological needs, we have to have a shelter to live safely. That is obviously safety need. Then to be, because in the human history, we know that we started living in forest areas. So even a safe shelter to be free from or to be safe from the natural calamities nowadays. When I was discussing Dr. Raja, these are the days of second monsoon season, southwest monsoon season, southern part of the country, and a lot of heavy rains and other natural disasters are happening here. So a human being wants to become safe from all those things, not only shelter, but all safety from other disasters. So safety needs are following the basic biological types of needs. And if these are also ensured, if you have a safe, homely atmosphere, safe house to live in, then we can think about the next need which will start bothering the human being, which is known as social need. By Maslow, it is termed as social need, or it is nothing but need to be a member of society, or at least a group to live. And social needs are nothing but need for belongingness. There should be someone around us to love, to share with, to share our sentiments like sorrows or happiness or whatever. We want to share with somebody. When you face those things, we want to share with somebody. Some people will be maybe family members, maybe friendships, maybe other people around us should be there. Otherwise, it is very difficult to live for a human being. Like this lockdown season or this type of very disaster season, to be away from society, to be away from friends, to be away from relatives, we feel suffocated to live alone. A person in a jail, it is very difficult to survive because human beings or connection with other people or belongingness with other people, it's a must for a happy life for any human being, whether man or woman, it's a must. So that is the third level of human being according to Abraham Maslow. When this is also fulfilled, just think there are so many people to share with, to share our sentiments, share our sorrows, share our happiness. Even if there are so many people around us, then then comes the fourth level of human need, which is very important in this context, which is known as ego needs, or it is nothing but need for recognition. This is a part of every human being's life. Need for recognition or ego needs or esteem, ESTEEM. Esteem need is also another term used. Is ego or esteem needs or need for recognition is very important, but it is a fourth level of human need without which any human being cannot survive happily in this world. For example, if there are so many friends for you, there are so many people around you, but if there is nobody recognizing your ability, just appreciating you for your strength or your capacities or your abilities, even by a smile at least, then you feel very much sad because there is no recognition. So, in another way, I can tell this search for recognition. It starts even from the morning when you get up from the bed after a sleep. Your eyes will start searching for this when you meet with another person, let it be a member of your family or a friend. When you see a smile from the other person, you feel that you are recognized, at least your presence is acknowledged. And this type of recognition is a must for the life of smooth life of any human being in this world. This is the fourth level of human need. this need for recognition, at least recognition of your presence or your ability or your companionship. This is a requirement for any human being, including me or you. So if this is also fulfilled, then you search for the next level of need. This is called self-actualization need, according to Abraham Maslow. What is this self-actualization? Even from childhood, any human being will start for this need. That is, self-actualization means you need a satisfaction from the within, from within. When you do a work, at least at home, when you arrange your household articles, your personal belongings, when you are in a hostel, when you are in a living somewhere at your home or any other place, when you rearrange, and when that work is over, you get a satisfaction from the work you have done on the on that day or the previous time, or these few seconds or few minutes when you do something. When you finish, ah, you feel a satisfaction that you have done something, you finished something, you accomplished some requirement, immediate requirement, personal need. So this is self-actualization. It is nothing but a self-satisfaction for the work you do. And this is a requirement for any human being, even at workplace, when you are an official, when you work for a project, or when you are working for an office, when you accomplish something, when you finish that work, you get a satisfaction that, oh, you have done something good. You get a satisfaction by your work, by yourself. This self-satisfaction is called self-actualization need. So all these needs go one by one. Once you fulfill one need, then you jump to the next need and you start searching for satisfaction for that one. I repeat, basic biological, physiological needs. Once you are fulfilling this one, you search for safety needs, safety of your life. And if you have enough, then you search for social need or belongingness need, your affection need or need for love from other people. And if you have enough persons to love you, then you search for recognition need, and ultimately you have the need for self-actualization or self-satisfaction from your own work. So here we start the discussion on self-awareness. If you have these things, I'm coming to the question which I raised earlier. How many of you know about you completely? When you start talking about self-awareness, this is nothing but the knowledge of ourselves. This is it is very important for our life to see our strength as well as weakness. Not only strength, many of us, we know about our strength and we boast of our strength. We are proud of that. That's true. But along with the strength, we have weakness too. And many times we forget to remember that, and we face problems according to this lack of understanding about our weakness also. That's why. Remember that no one in this world is perfect, because we are all human beings. As a human being, we have strengths as well as we have weakness too. And we have to realize that because we are human beings, we will have both the plus as well as minus. And it is not a problem for anyone. But we have to remember this is our human nature, and we have to make clear understanding about this, and we have to remember this and appreciating this our own plus and minus. Everybody will have, nobody is devoid of that. Everybody will have some positive and some negative traits, and we have to realize our strength and be proud of that. At the same time, we have to identify ഇല്ല ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഹാപ്പി സേഫ്, കാരണം എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇതൊന്ന് മറ്റൊന്ന് അരമണിക്കൂർ ഉണ്ടാവും. ആ ഒരു ബ്രേക്ക് എടുക്കുന്നേരം. ശരി. Okay, then we'll proceed. So I repeat the same question. How many of you know about you completely? Here comes the basic theory which I wanted to discuss today is nothing but Johari window. This is a structural representation of our human personality. It is proposed by two psychologists, two well-known famous psychologists called Joseph Luft and Harrington. That is why the name of this structure, this theoretical structure, is called Johari. Joseph Luft. The first word Joe is from Joseph, and Harrington, it says the four letters Harry. So Joseph Luft and Harrington jointly they propose the theory of Johari window. Joseph Luft and Harrington. So the theory is Johari window. Why it is called as window? It is like a window structure with four panes, four shutters, a window. You can imagine a window with four shutters. The first one is called open self. What is open self? The side indicators will explain what is open self. It is that part of personality which that trait, those traits of personality, human personality, my own personality or your own personality, imagine your own personality or my own personality, those aspects in my personality which are known to myself and known to others. So this is called open self, first shutter, first pane of the human personality. That is, as those aspects which are known to me and which are known to others. Others means not all others, acquaintances of mine, my friends, my family members, or my relatives. They know about this. Means it may be my attitudes, it may be my behavior or behavior, it may be my expressions, my thinking, my special type of verbal or non-verbal behaviors, all aspects of my personality which are known to me as well as which are known to others who are my acquaintances, my friends or my relatives. So all of us, we know about this aspect in me, and that part is called open self of me. Then the second aspect is second part of my personality is called as blind self. So remember this we are discussing about Johari window structure of human personality as explained by Johari, Joseph Luft and Harrington, two psychologists. So that is why Johari, and it is explaining human individual personality having four dimensions or four aspects like a four shutter like window. So the first part is open self. Then the second part of human personality, this is also there for everybody, that is known as blind self. Second aspect is blind self. What is blind self? Second aspect is not known to self but known to others. That is why it is called as blind. Blind means we are not seeing certain things. We are not seeing certain things ourselves, but others are seeing. So we are blind about those aspects of our own personality. That is why it is called as blind self. So that is also there for everybody. For example, we have special mannerisms, special type of express behaviors in certain situations, but we may not be aware of that. We may not be conscious about that, but other people may be noticing that. For example, I'll tell you one experience of mine. When I was a student of primary school classes, I had a teacher, a very smart, dynamic lady teacher, who was teaching me about Indian history, the world history as well. So she was talking about how the revolution, world revolution took place according to the contribution of Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu. French Revolution happened. So I was listening to this, but at that time she had a habit of using the chalk piece to write on the blackboard, using the chalk piece in her arm, in her hands, and just rolling while talking without knowing that this is distracting the attention of the front row student. I was a small boy sitting normally in the front row because my parents, they were teachers in the same school. So I was just pretending like a obedient boy and always sitting in the front row. But this particular habit of rolling the chalk piece in the hand while talking, it was a distraction for me. I was thinking whether the chalk piece will fall down now or no, in that way. But she was not bothered. She was not knowing this. So naturally, what will happen as a consequence in the exam time, I could not remember anything what she was teaching in the classroom because my attention was going to the chalk piece, always rolling in her hand. So this is a distracting element, but the thing is that it was in her blind self. She was blind about that. She was not knowing it. She was not conscious about that. But I was noticing it. It was catching my attention always. But that was a part of her blind self. This is a part of every human being, for that matter, for me, for you, everybody. We can locate that. What is that in the blind self of everyone? Then there is a third part of human personality that's known as hidden self. Hidden means hide. As the diagram indicates, hidden self, the third part is not known to others, but known to ourselves. We are aware of it, we know about it, but this is not known to others. Purposefully or unknowingly, we are hiding these aspects of our personality. It may be thoughts, it may be attitudes, it may be the express part of behavior, whatever it is. It is a part of our personality. Every one of us is a part of our personality, but we are hiding it from other people. We are always aware of it. For example, I'll tell you, uh, certain aspects in our dream or in our visualization. We plan many things for the future days to come. So it is there in our mind. We have to achieve these things in the future days. We have to go closer to such persons in the future days. It's all plans for the personal life, but we never allow any other person to know about it. Unless we disclose it, it will not be known to others. So that is a part of our hidden self, and we move accordingly, guided by these wishes or aspirations. So that's a part of hidden self, and it is in other words, I can say these are all personal secrets of our personal life for the future days to come. It may be plans, it may be designs for the days to come, maybe to achieve certain things, maybe to avoid certain things, whatever it is. But this hidden self is also a part of everybody's personality, mine or yours, and we never disclose all this part to any other person in our personal life. These are all personal secrets of our personal life. So that is also there for every one of us. That's why I ask the question, do you know about you completely? You think you know about the first one, you may not know about the second one, but you know about the third one, but others may not know about the third aspect. And also, then the fourth aspect is also there for all of us. which is known as unknown self by the Johari window. They call it as unknown self. What is that unknown self? Then who knows about it? It is not known to self, and also it is not known to others. What is that? Then who knows about it? That's a question. It may come to the mind of anyone. So let me tell something more about it. When I discuss about unknown self, remember all these four aspects are there for every one of us. If we are living as a human being in this world, all the four dimensions are there, but the extent may vary, the magnitude may vary from person to person. Somebody may have more open self, somebody may have more hidden self, some other people may have more of blind self, and some people may have very less unknown self, but some may have more unknown self. It may vary from person to person. What is unknown self? Here I have to borrow some other psychological theory of Sigmund Freud. You know who Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud is an Austrian scientist who lived more than a century back, who proposed the theory of analysis of human dreams, first time in the world. He has written a famous book, The Psychology of Human Dreams, and that is available in the back, all the editions, even libraries or bookstores, even now. So that proposes human dreams and the dreams, how human beings we get the dreams. It shows, according to Sigmund Freud's theory, human mind has different levels. He proposed the conscious level, then the subconscious level, and he proposed the third level, that unconscious level of human mind. Just imagine a glass of water, and if you put a small piece of soil or mud in that water and stir it with some spoon, it will mix with the water and it will come very muddy solution. But if you keep it for some time, maybe for half an hour, that it will, the muddy soil particles will sediment down, and again on the top you can see clear water, then the solution, mixed solution at the bottom, and at the lowest level you can see sedimented soil or muddy particles. So likewise, this only is an example I mentioned. Then according to Freud, the conscious level is the topmost level, which is clear. The conscious level of human mind is dealing with the contemporary issues, contemporary affairs, which will know, which will talk about what is the experience now, what he or she is experiencing now. That is the conscious, it is the activity of conscious level. If it is hot, is it cold? If you touch something, is it hot? You feel heat in the touch surface. So that is the activity of conscious level. But the below that there is subconscious level, means it is the storehouse of memories. When you experience something, when you see something, you will memorize those things in your mind. Maybe after 1 hour, if somebody is asking what you have seen 1 hour before on the roadside, what you have seen, you will remember what you have seen. Maybe after 1 hour, if somebody is asking, you will remember after 1 hour. That is a storehouse of memory. That is in this, it is an activity of subconscious level. But below that, beneath that, at the bottom level, there is unconscious level, means if you happen to see an accident today, you may proceed further, you may forget after a couple of hours, and you will forget about this, but the next day you may not remember that. But when you see the news, a news in the newspaper the next day about road accident you saw on the previous day, if you happen to see the newspaper report, then you will remember the accident scene you have seen the previous day, because you remember what you have seen yesterday, which you have forgotten. But when you see this news report in the newspaper, you will immediately visualize the things you have seen in the previous day. This is just recovery of your image, which you have seen, but you have forgotten. So that is the activity of the lowest level of mind. But still the unknown self, which will depict the lowest level of human mind, the unconscious level, which will deeper, which will be guided by your likes and dislikes. For example, now you are in a webinar, but you remember your campus. When you join the campus, wherever it is, Arunachal or Imphal or anywhere in the country or any, you remember your campus. You remember the day, which first day you joined the campus, you met a lot of new faces. Your classmates or new students, when they came, the faces were new, and when you see them, you are not knowing them, because first time in your life you are seeing them as new students in the campus. But some faces you found as attractive, you found that, oh, this person, you can go closer to him. When you see some other face, you see, oh, this person, no, I don't want to go closer. What is the reason? Because some faces are reminding you somebody whom you loved early in your life, childhood or later. Some similarity, maybe the shape of the nose, then looks of the eyes or the face or the hairstyle or whatever, maybe the movement, certain things, certain aspects of another human being reminded you or made you as impressive, or even though the person is not known to you, some attraction, some element attracted you, made as a person whom you can become a friend, when you can go closer, or when you want to avoid. That also, the first impression made you to think about avoiding person or a closer person. The first impression, that is similarity to certain traits of somebody whom you have seen early, whom you loved early, whom you hated earlier part of your life. So those are remembrances or recoveries of deeper impressions in your unconscious level of human mind. So this is the theory of Sigmund Freud, who has explained about these three levels of human mind. And theory of Sigmund Freud was relating to human dreams. He proposed that this unknown self, the hidden part of human mind or the deeper part of human mind, the impressions got in that due to a daily experience, bedtime experience or personal experience, the deeper impressions are coming to the superficial level as in the form of dreams. And the dreams are nothing but manifestations of earlier deeper impressions. That is a theory proposed by Sigmund Freud. That is how he proposed the analysis of human dreams. Sigmund Freud, the Austrian scientist who proposed analysis of human dreams and wrote volumes of books on this. And this unknown self in Johari window is very close to Sigmund Freud's theory of levels of human mind, three levels of human mind. Unknown self is similar to the unconscious level of human mind as proposed by Sigmund Freud. So he suggests that every one of us, we have the fourth level as well, and which will unknowingly influence our interests or likes or dislikes in day-to-day life. When you see a person, when you see a situation, when you meet a situation, you start liking it or disliking it due to impressions in your unknown self, similar to unconscious level of human mind. So this is a theory of Sigmund Freud, and this is a theory of. So I am just repeating whatever I was mentioning here. Open self, the first part of human mind, according to Johari window, it includes all behavioral traits that you and others around you are aware of. It will include attitudes, values, knowledge, and overt behavior means expressed behavior. All these things about which you and others around you are aware of in you. It may contain positive as well as negative traits of human personality, and others might rate you about based on these traits as a good person or a bad person. It, so that is the first part of human personality. The second part of the Harry window is blind self, which will include the traits which I mentioned earlier, known to you, known to others, but unknown to you. That's why it's called as blind self. It will include attitudes, values, behavior, and other things about which you are not aware of it, but others are becoming aware of it in you, and they will rate you about based on these things. So these are some traits about one may not be aware of. That is the part of human personality which is known as blind self. And this blind self may include some overt behavioral traits like when a person is standing while speaking to another person, this person may just move to this side and that side unknowingly, just like a dancing movement while talking, making a public speech. For example, most of the people having public speech, making an attempt to make a public speech, they may have many overt behavior which they may not be aware of it, but others may be noticing these overt behavioral traits. And they will remain in the blind arena till another person is telling you that you have this trait, other people are noticing it. Then you'll try to start correcting it. Then comes the third one, which is known as hidden self, which I mentioned, which will, these are hidden self, the traits which you are trying to hide and which are not known to other people, but about which you will be aware of it. So it will include thoughts, attitudes, desires, or future plans of or aspirations to make achievements. And it will include past experiences. And these six we are keeping as personal secrets, which there are certain experiences which we may have in different stages of our life, which we may not disclose to any other person because we would like to keep them as our personal secrets. Certain aspects, certain good or bad experience in our personal life. So those things will be kept in the hidden self of our personality. So they can go to open arena only when we start self-disclosure with close people. We have very close people, very close friends, very close family members. To those people, we may open up these things as personal aspects. Then they will move from hidden self to the open self when the moment we start disclosing, which will give a lot of relief, because when you keep certain things as secret, we take a lot of psychic energy to keep a secret. And if something is in a secret, we suffer from that because we don't want to tell this to anyone, but it will be disturbing our mind when we suppress certain thing as a hide certain thing as a secret and keep as a secret from other people. So we suffer a lot because it takes a lot of psychic energy from each one of us. So the moment you share it with somebody, you get a lot of relief. So this relief is hiding requires a lot of psychic energy. We have two types of energy. One is psychic energy, the other one is kinesthetic energy, which is physical energy. When you lift something, lift some heavy objects, we take the kinesthetic energy means bodily energy. But When you hide something, some secret in our mind, when you hide something, it takes a lot of energy, which is psychic energy, mental energy. So these two types of energy is always there for every one of us. So I am talking about it when I talk about hidden self. So try to reduce the hidden self of our personality and try to make it as open self, to enlarge that open self and try to reduce the hidden self, because hidden self will demand a lot of psychic energy from ourselves, which will make us very much tired. But we get a lot of refreshing feeling when you release certain things from us, and when you release certain secrets, which are that doesn't mean that everything can be disclosed to anyone. We have to be judicious to decide what to disclose to whom and at what time. Anything cannot be disclosed to anyone at any time. No, that is wrong. That will create a lot of problems, because we'll discuss about it in the couple of minutes to come. That's the discussion following this. So I was talking about the third part of human life, personality, that is hidden self. And as I mentioned earlier, the fourth part is also there for every one of us, that is known as unknown self. That includes the traits that are known to others, as well as not known to ourselves. That those things are the deeper impressions in our personality based on our personal experience in the previous previous days of life. So they will exert influence in our behavior, like likes or dislikes, and unconsciously they will be exerting some influence of our likes and dislikes or our total behavior. So it is difficult to trace them, and sometimes these things are possible to locate with the help of counseling of a trained psychologist. That person may help us why I have this type of behavior, why I behave. For example, if I don't like a particular type of material or a particular type of color, I hate or I am afraid of that. I am very much keeping a disgust to that color, means I don't know why it is so, but with the help of a trained psychologist, I can trace the reason for that. It may be due to some hatred or some dislike which I developed in some part of my life, maybe in the childhood, maybe with a bad experience with that type of color in any part of my life. So that is the possibility for unknown self, which is covering. So here, uh, I wanted to tell this, but in a webinar like this one, using, but just think about it. It's a part of exercise which I used to give in my face-to-face life of training sessions on this self-awareness. Think about these four: open self, blind self, hidden self, and unknown self for every one of us. Believe that every one of us, we have all these four traits, four arenas or four shutters in our window like personality. So can you think about this? Which part is there in your open self? Which part is there in your blind self? Which part is there in your hidden self? And which can be there in your unknown self, which is not easy to think about it because we are not aware of it. That's why. But the other three, we can think about it. So, imagine a situation when you had an emotional breakdown in some part of our life, and which we could survive. Now, it's not possible to discuss about it in a webinar like this. It's not possible, but just have a thought about it. Here, I would like to continue with the discussion about these four arenas, four shutters of the window-like personality. These four are not equally present in strength in any one of us. They share, they may vary from person to person because, as I mentioned earlier, the open self may be very large for some people in the area, the magnitude of the area. It may have more for some people, whereas the hidden self may be very small for some other people or for the same people. Whereas the blind self also may be large for some people, but the blind self may be very small for some persons. Unknown self is normally very smaller when compared to open self and hidden self. Some people will have more hidden self, those who keep more secrets which are not known to others. They may have more hidden self. Some people will have more open self who will talk about them to many people whom they meet. So some people may have more open self, whereas some people may have more hidden self. A blind self will be normal, will not be too much for most of the people. Blind self as well as unknown self will not be too much, but some people may have more hidden self, whereas some people may have more open self. It depends on the person. Enlarging open self and reducing others is possible only through self-disclosure. Here comes the relevance of self-disclosure. When you open up about ourselves, as I mentioned earlier, to closer people at least, to our close relatives or close friends, we can open up. We can share our secrets, our ambitions, our aspirations, our likes and dislikes. Then the self-disclosure is happening, and thereby we can save much of our psychic energy, which will help us to get more relief. Self-disclosure has to be done carefully. Why? As I mentioned earlier, there are certain self-disclosure uh, disadvantages. I will come to that later, but let me talk about the type of disclosure. We have commonly, we have as human being, we have two types of self-disclosure. One is called history type, the other is called story type. What is history type? History type is nothing but talking about past only. Whereas the story type of disclosure is more desirable, which is talking about the present. What are my present feelings? What are my present experiences? What are my present plans for the future? How I think now. That is what story type. But the people who will always tell that I am making disclosure, but they confine to history type means it is about telling about the past. Oh, I was like this, or I was thinking that, I was thinking this way, like that. So it's about the past only, but that is not the real self-disclosure. But the real thing is the story type, that is commonly known as the at present self-disclosure, story type. And what are the benefits of disclosure? It will strengthen interpersonal relation. It will develop mutual trust. It will help us to get more friends. The friendship, the people will come closer to us because they think that, oh, he will or she will tell about her. So that person is disclosing type means it is a sign of mutual trust. So interpersonal trust will increase when we have self-disclosure. It increases interpersonal trust, and it also helps to know each other. That is another advantage. If we have friendship, the more you make self-disclosure, it will make us closer and closer, and it will help us to know each other better. So it improves communication efficiency as well. So these are the advantages of this one. So now this is exercise I suggest. Anyway, the slides will come to you and you can try to practice this when you go back. Throw the Johari window of a person whom you love most in your life. You may have very admirable person in your life, maybe a friend, maybe a hero or heroine of your personal life, whom you like most. Who is that person? Think about and try to draw a Johari window. Think that Johari window, the structure is not equally shaped. Open window, open self is more for some people, whereas hidden self is more for some other people. So it will have four shutters for a window, but the shutter structure will have different shapes. So if you draw a Johari window, what is the appearance of Johari window of a person whom you love most in your life? And then you draw another Johari window of a person whom you hate most or whom you dislike most in your life. So compare these, and then when you make the comparison, you will identify that the person whom you love most, the open self is larger for that person, whether male or female. That person will have large open self, whereas the person whom you dislike will have more of hidden self. So this gives a message to us. So open self is more admirable, more appreciable for others, and which demands more self-disclosure on in interpersonal relations. When you make an interpersonal relation with another person, your disclosure, extent of self-disclosure, will make us closer, will make us closer to the other person, will increase mutual trust as well as mutual relationship. So why the individuals are hesitating to make self-disclosure more? One reason is there are certain reasons for avoidance of self-disclosure. Why? If I ask you why people are not disclosing themselves more to acquaintances or to their own friends, why? One reason is the social bias about self-disclosure. If somebody is talking about himself or herself openly, then the impression may be negative. Oh, he is boasting about himself or herself, or he is telling only good things about herself, or he is very loosely talking about himself or herself, or he should be avoided. So a social bias is a negative social bias is there. That is why people hesitate to make self-disclosure to friends or acquaintances. Then there is another reason, that is fear of rejection or punishment. If you tell everything openly about your inner feelings or in your plans in your mind, if you open up your mind very openly to other people, it may lead to punishment, it may lead to rejection, and that fear is preventing us to make self disclosure more, and this is one hesitating factor. Then the tangible loss like friendship or job. Sometimes you may have tangible loss, right? You may lose a friendship. If you hate a person openly, if you are telling, I don't like you, then the friendship may be lost. If you tell certain things related to job, then you may be affected by loss of certain things tangibly. So these are all the hesitating factors resisting self-disclosure. Then another one is reverse halo effect. You know what is halo effect? Halo means a divine-like appearance. You have seen the pictures of gods. In the pictures of gods or photos, around the head, some glittering type of shade is given in the photograph or in the diagram of God, uh, divine persons. So that is called halo. This reverse halo effect is there for every one of us among friendships. The friend will love you more or closer to heart, to his heart or to her heart, because you have created a halo effect in her mind or his mind about you. So this halo will be lost in the mind of other person. That feeling is there, and this is resisting self-disclosure as another reason. Then the fifth reason, which is creating resistance for self-disclosure, is fear of self-knowledge. There are certain things which we don't want to remember about ourselves. I told you, certain things which we want to hide from other people. Maybe certain bad experiences which we want to forget. Maybe certain things which we want to forget. Maybe certain things which you yourself don't like in your own personality. So this self-knowledge, we want to avoid it. So fear of self-knowledge. Because of that fear, we will avoid self-disclosure with other people. Here, this is another exercise, not now, but at least after this person, you can do this. When you get this slide, on a piece of paper, you write your name on the top of the paper horizontally and make two columns, left and right column. Left side, one column, you write the positive traits you have, whatever you think as positive trait you have, important positive trait. Maybe I am beautiful, or I am handsome, or I am strong, I am I am able to make decisions, quick decisions. I am implementing decisions, my decisions, or I am punctual, or my handwriting is good, my writing ability is good, I am a good communicator, whatever it is. All these positive traits you think about you write down your positive traits on one side, and on the other side, you list down the important negative, 5 negative traits you think that you have. Maybe that may be your thinking, but or you may get feedback from other people, but these 5 negative traits which you want to reduce in you list down those 5 things. Then this, it can be physical, it can be social, it can be emotional, or it can be intellectual trait. It can be positive, it can be negative as well. Then you make a list of left side positive and right side negative things. Then then this is the time we can make a decision about our own personalities. This is a type of self-awareness exercise. We are thinking about ourselves and we are listing out our personal positive and negative traits which about which we are aware of, or we are getting feedback from other people which we want to modify in our personality. And let us continue to be bold enough to declare these traits to others. If possible, maybe later when you meet your friends or acquaintances, try to make self-disclosure and get relief of discharging your energy, psychic energy, and get relief of that. So the traits you have, very good positive traits. I am sure if you are 1,000 here or 100 here, all the persons in this lot, in this group, all of you have positive as well as negative traits, because we are all human beings. And we are in the effort to locate our positive traits and our negative traits as well. And we want to reduce our negative traits by decision of ours and effort of interaction with other people, for which we use self-disclosure as a good tool. But be careful. We have to be careful in deciding with whom, what to disclose, and when to disclose, and up to what level to disclose. Self-disclosure is a thing which we have to be careful in doing, because it will make damages in the later part of our life. unless we are careful in choosing the persons, and unless we are careful in deciding the extent as well as the timing, that may create damages. But it will give a lot of relief personally, because it's a release of psychic energy for every one of us. So this is what I wanted to discuss with you as a part of self-awareness, which is, to sum up, which is a discussion about human personality, everyone of us, our own personality, which I discussed with the help of Johari window proposed by Joseph Lifton Harington, which will explain about 4 dimensions of human personality: the open self, the blind self, the hidden self, and the unknown self. In unknown self, we connected it with Sigmund Freud's theory of analysis of levels of human mind, 3 levels: the conscious level, the subconscious level, and the unconscious level. The unconscious level is connecting us to unknown self, which is the deepest level of human mind, which will have deeper impressions based on our past experience in our human life, even in starting from childhood, which will influence every one of us in the later part of our life, our likes and dislikes. So this one we can shape, we can mold, we can shape our personality with the help of self-disclosure, with the help of discussion with other people, and then also we have to take careful decisions to whom, up to what level, about what we have to disclose, which will help us to save a lot of psychic energy. This is the, in nutshell, a discussion about self-awareness, which is connecting the topic with the former discussion about positive personality, which we discussed in the morning. So thanks a lot for patient listening, all of you. Okay, now I welcome a number of questions or queries and even very close interactions, which will make us to make this session very successful and meaningful. Thank you, Lord. Okay.
So thank you very much, sir. And now there are a lot of one questions asked by Sivanki.
Okay.
The question is, how can we overcome the nervous during stressed condition? I often become nervous when there is some interview or viva. How can I become more confident?
Okay, Shivangi, you're from, I'm not knowing about you. You're from which campus?
Shivanki Pantnagar, I think I'll give the privilege to unmute themselves. Shivanki is here. Let me check. Shivanki is not here. It's in another number or what? Okay, sir, you can answer it. I think it's in another number. Sir, just a minute, sir. I'll unmute. Sir, I'll unmute. Sir, you can exit the slide share screen. Then now you can, it's unmuted. You can answer it, sir.
Okay. So shall I answer?
Yes, sir.
Shall I respond?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Shivanki. It's a normal question. I appreciate the question because it is not an abnormal thing, because it's naturally happening to any one of us, particularly a person like you. In this stage of life, you are a student and you are very working hard in a higher degree level, and you have a very bright future waiting for you. So naturally, this your aspirations or ambitions may make you little conscious about that, and you use the term nervousness, but it's not. I don't call as nervousness. It is an anxiety. I'll rather call as anxiety, because you are very careful about your future life and you are anxious about it, what is going to happen in future. That's why. So that will give some tension. It's natural human being. This one. You know, when we talk about anxiety, again, we can talk about two types of anxiety. One is the normal anxiety, but some people may have neurotic anxiety, which is little extreme type of neurotic anxiety. Neurotic anxiety will have a crippling effect. For example, a normal anxiety may happen. For example, when you go to bed in the evening, a thinking that whether I close the door, a normal curiosity may be there, and you may go and check. But when you have food, a little more anxious person may think that whether I clean my hand properly, that person may go and wash his hand or her hand again and again, 2 times, 3 times before starting the food. This is a sign of neurotic anxiety, means over anxious about personal well-being. This over anxiety may have a crippling effect that we can reduce purposefully with becoming aware of that. I may have little more anxiety, but I can face the situation because I am able. You believe that you are able, you are capable, you believe that you are positive. You have positive traits, you have capability, but you trust on that and you believe that you are able, you can overcome any challenge because you reach up to this stage because of your capability. So believe that, and this awareness will help you to avoid over anxiety, or which inverted commas neurotic anxiety. When you avoid neurotic anxiety, you will be anxious like any human being, because you are also a powerful person. You can overcome because you are capable. You have the capacity to overcome the challenges. You can meet with any challenge. So you have to reduce your anxiety level, and anxiety is common. It is natural. It is a sign of natural human being. But when the moment you become aware of yourself that you have little more anxiety than other people, this sign of neurotic anxiety, but you can easily avoid it because you realize your capability. You believe that you are capable and you can face the challenge of the situation. That's all. Okay, Dr. Raja, any more?
Yeah. Any more questions?
I love to get more and more questions.
Another question is, what are the things, methods we can do to have self-discipline?
Self-discipline.
Yeah, what are the things, methods we can do to have self-discipline?
This is a very broad term, self-discipline, because I don't know the person who is asking the question in which context he or she is thinking about self-discipline. Because is it about our behavior? There are self-discipline. The things you try to control and the things you try to restrict, these are all part of self. But you know, the term self-discipline means when you exceed the limits, you use the term losing self-discipline. What? When you exceed the limit means socially unaccepted things. or socially not acceptable things, when you try to indulge, that is violation of self-discipline. This is the explanation. But how means, the thing is that realizing what is good, realizing what is right and what is wrong, and try to avoid the things which are wrong. I don't recommend that everything should be socially appreciable. You know, many things in our personal life, socially unappreciated things are there, but it's a part of our personality. The moment you realize that this is the right thing for your personality, because your thinking or your philosophy of life, the things which are right may vary from person to person, but we should not stick to the things which are always appreciated by the larger society. There are certain things which may be appreciated by a part of society, but may not be applauded by some other people. In this world, nobody can be applauded. Nobody can be appreciated by everyone in this world. No, because there is a lot of variation in our personal thinkings, personal ideologies, personal beliefs, and personal values. So the thing that the question, answering to the question, you decide, you are the decision maker, you decide what is right in this contemporary world, what is right, scientifically correct, socially acceptable, socially not bad, or not harmful to other persons. Try to do the things which are harmless to others, which are not disturbing others. That is enough. So that is the decision each one of us we have to decide. What is harmless and what is harmful. Avoid the harmful things to others, because every one of us, we have equal right to live in this world the same way. Maybe we have differences, but we have to appreciate the differences. We have to appreciate the difference of other person as equal to the right of ourselves to live in this world. So I think to the broad question, this much answer will be enough, I think. Okay, okay, sir. I wish to share my email address. If anybody has any point of discussion or query, if you write a mail to my email ID, the same day itself, I'll reply to the mail. I like that because this is what I do whenever I interact with people, especially the student community from other places. I will like to share my email ID, and if any query or any discussion, I like to discuss with students like you, like interested students like you. Okay. Okay, Dr. Raja. So your comments, Dr. Raja.
Most of us undergraduates, and they were fear about asking question, and you said fear is one of the thing. Like, sir, you have said in the last slide, shall we? On behalf of students, I'm asking. It's not that for me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So there is no more question. I think they can keep on thinking, and then they can put it, and it's
sure.
They were. I think I asked the students,
will you please facilitate to share my email ID with them? If they want.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure,
please give,
sir. If you want, you can give your PPT also. PPT also. Some of the students they were asking
you share my PPT as well as my email ID to them. I'll be very happy to interact with them by email. Okay,
sir.
Okay, you can share my PowerPoint slides as well as email ID. Okay.
Okay, sir. My first question is: you said, "Let us continue to be bold and declare these traits to others." Like, we born in kind of some traits, right? So these traits, like born of, if you broadly see that people were born of 4 different traits, like
Yes.
Tim LaHaye book, I read it, and it was saying that sanguine and choleric, and then melon, and then phlegmatic.
Yes, yes.
So most probably, like sanguines, like business people, they have a
Okay.
lot of positive
Sure.
attitudes and things. So
Okay.
by seeing the nature of the person, so we can we can catch up, like he has this specific unique character. So
Okay.
these sanguines, most basically they are like business people, and
Okay.
like a kind of choleric people, most of them are politicians and military people.
Okay.
I think most of them are leaders, top leaders. They can do it. And like the third category is like inborn character, like doctors and Mr. Perfectionist, like and then melancholic. And by seeing them, we can know. And the last one is a phlegmatic. School teachers, even many houses, even one children, very difficult to control. But then if you see that even 100 children, if you give to a single phlegmatic, they can handle, like a primary school teacher, they can manage even thousands of children also without murmuring.
Oh, sure.
So you have said, like, let us continue to declare, like some of the, so the problem is like fear of rejection. The first question is like, we have positive characters and that will express ourselves to other people, that will communicate our way of talking, way of speaking, and then our approach to other people.
Yes.
Do we need to, so some people will struggle with a negative character, like we can say that plus and minus character, like sanguine, they have a plus character, and the negative character is they are not perfectionists. Like if you call them meeting for 3 o'clock, they'll come by 4 o'clock saying that I'm sorry, like that. So so in that, do we need to declare those character to others, like declaring others? So is it good to declare those kind of negative character that will bring very bad impression on sometime it will cover up our good attitude and the character? Do we need to disclose?
Dr. Raja, the purpose of my listing down of positive and negative traits, that was actually a part of my former usual training sessions. What I do is, at that place, we request them to paste it on the board. There will be a board, big board. So they will paste it and they will read each other, and it will follow a discussion, group discussion, where they will openly declare these are certain traits I have, which I want to avoid, negative traits. And there are certain things which I am boasting of or I am proud of. There are certain positive traits. And the discussion will help them to come to a conclusion that there are certain things which we want to reduce for the future. So that was the purpose of that. But this declaration is a part of self-disclosure, but it is, as I earlier mentioned, it should be done carefully, to whom I had to disclose and about what, to what extent I had to disclose, because there are certain things socially rejectable, socially unacceptable. So it is if it is an open session, it will be very interesting to have this type
we
of
have to be very careful in expressing those things.
But this type of topic.
And my second question is, my second question is like rejection. It is most part of every human life. Rejection is a part, like though you may have done a lot of hard work, present yourself, and some of the people, they were very sincere in doing the things in their office, and even some of them are most intelligent and do the things very carefully. But then rejection is one part of our life. But so this rejection comes, as you rightly said, sometimes it is because of our some kind of weaknesses, and sometimes because of a social biasness, and you have listed some of the things. But the rejection is nowadays, it is how we can overcome this rejection. Like we can say the students, and so they may be very brilliant in writing, but they are being simply rejected by they could not perform good things in even Viva OC or interview. Like they are good, knowledgeable, and doing a lot of hard work. Even some extent, like people, they have more talented, but then they were rejected when they start some business. Like they are stepping up, doing something. They will be rejected by the community or society by tag, by name or color, or maybe some kind of thing. In that things, how we can overcome that social rejection and personal rejection?
My short answer will be that, the society is, we cannot predict as uniform. It is always like a mixed one. These type of interests, these type of tendencies are always there in a combined society like ours, like Indian society or in our place like that. But we cannot expect a type of response from the people who are working with us. So, as you mentioned earlier, in a bureaucratic atmosphere in office or in an academic life of a student, the talents are many, the skills are different, and the skills are appreciated or expressed differently in different situations. Okay. So as you mentioned, some students are very skillful in writing answers or writing essays, but when they come to openly defense or open discussion in the YOC or oral examination, the performance may become bad because of the deficiency in that skill. So they had to, the exam system also, I am little critical about that, because we have to appreciate, we have to identify the talents or skills of multifarious different types of skills of each student, and there should be room for appreciating different types of skills. If a mixed type of assessment is made, that can be overcome by the academic community, but in the atmosphere of bureaucracy, the abilities are different, but acceptance also may vary. It is our own, it is about our life, means we have to realize that our traits or our qualities will not be appreciated and accepted by the society as we expect. So we have to be ready for that response from the society at large. Okay. I cannot give a ready-made. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for answering 2 questions.
Okay.
On behalf of students, I just asked it is to encourage them to ask more questions in that line. And one more question came up. Sir, one more question came up.
Please,
how to recognize our negative traits effectively? How to recognize our negative traits effectively, as it is hard to see our own fault most of the time.
Yeah, but our negative traits identification, as I mentioned, most of the time they are in the unknown self as well as our blind self, because negative things, no one of us, we don't want to remember, we don't want to identify our own negative things, because it is unlikely to come superficially. So they may be either in blind self or sometimes in the unknown self. So in such cases, our negative traits identification is a big task, which personally I feel that which can be possible through interaction with our close acquaintances or friends, where self-disclosure, we make more, we may get, in return, we may get disclosure about ourselves. We may get feedback from our close acquaintance or friends or relatives, these type of things which they look as negative trait in every one of us, because it's very difficult to identify our negative traits. But if we encourage more feedback from other people, for which we have to give more self-disclosure from our side, then more interpersonal trust, which more feedback from their side, where we can identify our traits which we have to reduce in future. Am I answering your question? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Sir, you can close your slide share. I
Okay,
think is there any more questions
I-
from the participant?
I again make a request to have more interactions when you get my email ID from Dr. Raja. You are please feel free to write to me immediately the same day itself. I'll try to reply. Maybe.
Surendra Karol, he want to ask some question. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Surendra? Yeah, I'm unmuting. Try to unmute. Can you unmute yourself and ask question? Surendra Karoy? Okay, if anybody wants to ask question, you just unmute yourself.
Surendra, you can even write a mail to me today or tomorrow or later. I will certainly reply to your mails. For everyone, any one of you, every one of you, you can expect, you have to introduce yourself, write a letter, we can interact, we can continue our interactions in future also, at least. You will get my email ID from him. From Dr. Raja will give email ID plus 2 PowerPoints. Please keep the relation, please keep the connections from this webinar. I'll be very happy to have connection with my students. Okay. Okay, my friends. Thanks a lot
Thank
for
you very much,
patiently
sir.
listening.
So, we came to the end of this webinar of this. I'll give the time to our SRF. She will be proposing the vote of thanks.
Okay.
And in spite of a lot of problems, sir, actually here in Arunachal, there is electricity problem.
I know.
Now it's a huge electricity problem. That's why many of the students could not join. And many of them are watching in YouTube because they can download and watch it later also. But using the Zoom, they need a continuous connectivity.
Okay.
So now, thank you very much, sir. I'll give time to our SRF, Dr. Nesara. She will be proposing the vote of thanks.
I repeat my request to share my email ID and my PowerPoint slides. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Very good evening to all. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee for this event. First and foremost, we would like to thank our Chief Patron Professor M. Premji Singh sir and our patron Dr. S. Basanta Singh sir for their constant support. We would also like to thank our Dean and Nodal Officer, Professor B. N. Hazarika sir, for his valuable guidance and suggestions. We would also like to thank our Associate Nodal Officer, Dr. P. Raja sir, for all his efforts, starting from contacting the resource person to organizing this event and making it a successful one. Our special thanks goes to our resource person, Professor Ranjan Karipai sir. Thank you, sir, for contributing your time and delivering a wonderful talk. I hope all the participants have benefited from your talk. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants for your active participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, we would like to take one group photo in the Zoom. For that, you have to stop the screen sharing, sir.
Oh, sure.
Stop this screen sharing and you have to exit that. I want to take the group. And the announcement for the participants, tomorrow, 10 o'clock, I'll give the link. Please answer the questions. It will be a quiz. And those who responded, you will get the certificate immediately. Those who could not get the certificate, I'll send it through email. So immediately, if 100 certificate first come first, it will be tagged with your quiz, and soon after clearing the quiz, you will be getting that. Okay. So thank you very much. So I'll take a snapshot for our record. Just
Okay,
can
good.
you open the video, everyone? Don't unmute the mic. Open the video. Open the video. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, I'm taking picture now. Many of them I could see. Many of them are horticulture college students. Yeah, one more. Just wait. Second page I'm taking. Just wait. Can you mute your mic? Mute your mic. Just a minute, one more photo. Yeah. Thank you very much. I have taken the photo. And please wait for this tomorrow 10 a.m. And we are conducting one more webinar on Tuesday and Wednesday. That is for science communication. Those who are science background, you can register. I will also send this brochure. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much, sir. We enjoyed your lecture and it is
Okay,
there in the
thank
YouTube. I have sent the link
Oh,
also.
sure. Okay,
You
okay,
can
please.
also watch once again.
Okay,
Thank you very
please.
much, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
I'll
Thank you.
end the meeting.
Okay.